All right, let's rip open today's source material. We've got something truly fascinating on the table.
Oh, yeah. What are we looking at?
It's a piece of, well, pretty cutting-edge technology called GaitBetter.
GaitBetter. Okay, I've heard a bit about this.
Yeah, so we're diving deep into how it's using virtual reality for gait training and, importantly, fall prevention.
Right. VR in rehab. It's a hot area.
Exactly. So for you listening, our mission today is basically to quickly unpack how this whole approach works, what the reported benefits are, and really who's benefiting from it.
Sounds good. It's a relevant topic for sure.
You know, for so long, traditional gait training has been, well, critical, obviously, but let's be honest, it can sometimes get a bit repetitive, maybe even boring for patients.
Adherence can definitely be a challenge.
Yeah, so the challenge has always been, how do you make it more engaging, more real world, and ultimately just more effective? Is that kind of where GaitBetter comes in?
Precisely. Yeah, that's the niche it fills. At its core, GaitBetter is described as an evidence-based motor cognitive intervention.
Okay, motor cognitive. Let's break that down a bit. For listeners who aren't, healthcare pros, what does combining motor and cognitive actually mean here?
That's a really crucial question. It means we're not just training muscles, the physical movement side of things.
Right, it's more than just walking on a treadmill.
Exactly. It's also training the brain's ability to process information while you're moving. So think of motor as your physical skills, walking, balance, coordination, stuff like that.
Got it.
And cognitive is your thinking skills, like attention, memory, making decisions on the fly. GaitBetter trains both at the same time.
Simultaneously.
Yes, simultaneously, which is absolutely critical because, well, think about real-world walking. It demands both, doesn't it? You're not just putting one foot in front of the other. You're thinking, reacting, navigating.
Okay, so it's definitely not just a fancy TV screen you're watching while you walk. What kind of interactions are we actually talking about in this virtual world? Are patients like dodging things?
Oh, it's incredibly dynamic. Yeah, imagine you're on a standard treadmill, right? But instead of just staring at the wall ahead.
Which gets old fast.
Instead, you're interacting with a virtual environment projected in front of you, and it responds to your actual movements. So patients might be walking across a virtual bridge, maybe avoiding virtual puddles, like you said, or stepping over logs.
Okay.
Or even navigating a bustling virtual street, with digital pedestrians walking around.
Wow. So it's really simulating complex environments.
Exactly. And the system adapts in real time. It adjusts the difficulty based on how the patient is doing.
So it pushes them, but not too much.
Right. That's key for continuous improvement and keeping people engaged. And importantly, it's safe to fail in the virtual world. Trip over a virtual log, no real harm done, but you learn.
And that builds real-world confidence, I imagine.
Precisely. That immersive experience is powerful, especially for something like dual tasking, which the sources really highlight.
Dual tasking. Okay, let's talk about that. Can you give us a real-world example? How does improving dual tasking actually help someone day to day? And why is it so critical for preventing falls?
Absolutely. Think about just walking down a busy sidewalk. You're trying to avoid cracks, maybe listening for traffic noise. Perhaps you're talking to someone next to you.
Right, maybe carrying groceries too.
Exactly. All at the same time. That's dual tasking. If you struggle with that, if your brain gets overwhelmed trying to manage the walking and the thinking,
you're more likely to trip. Or maybe just stop doing things, stop going out because you're afraid.
Precisely. You might trip, or you might just freeze up, slow down, avoid those situations altogether. GaitBetter simulates that complexity, but safely. It trains your brain and body to handle multiple things at once.
Okay, so it's not just about rehab after something happens. There's a big preventative piece here.
A huge preventative aspect, yes.
Which brings us to the results. I mean, does it actually work? The sources claim a, pretty staggering impact, reducing falls by 70%.
70%, yeah. It's a significant number.
It really is. When I hear that, my first thought is, okay, what's the real insight here? Is it just that the VR is cool and engaging, or does it trick the brain into practicing more effectively? Or is it something about that cognitive load you mentioned?
I think it's a combination, but you hit on a key point. The insight isn't just the VR itself, cool as it is. It's how it safely pushes patients just beyond their comfort zone.
Right. In ways traditional therapy might struggle to do.
Exactly. It's that ability to practice challenging scenarios, to even fail safely within the virtual world, that translates into real-world confidence. And that reduction in the fear of falling, That's often a bigger hurdle than the physical limitation itself.
Ah, that fear of falling, that really resonates. It's not just about physical ability, is it? It's the psychological side. That fear can be so limiting for someone's independence.
It's immense. Absolutely immense.
And we actually hear from patients. There's this one quote from Judith E. She reported feeling more secure after just 6 visits.
6. That's quick progress.
It is. But what really struck me was her comment about not being afraid to fall again. It just makes you wonder how much of fall prevention is actually psychological.
A huge amount. That fear, it can be debilitating. It leads to this vicious cycle. You're scared, so you move less, your muscles get weaker, your balance gets worse, and your actual fall risk increases.
So the fear becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Pretty much, yeah. So by building confidence in this safe, controlled virtual space, patients start to regain that psychological freedom. They feel more able to move, to explore, to live independently again.
And it's not just patient anecdotes, right? Providers are seeing objective results too.
Yes. Beyond the testimonials, which are powerful, clinicians are tracking objective measures. Yonatan Bendelak, who's a director at Maccabi Healthcare, noted good clinical results in things like the tube test, the timed up and go test, and also the Berg balance scale.
Okay, for those of us not administering these tests daily, can you just briefly explain what the tug and Berg tell us?
Sure. The tug, timed up and go, is simple but really informative. It measures how quickly someone can stand up from a chair, walk, say, 3 meters, turn around, walk back, and sit down again.
Okay, so it captures functional mobility.
Exactly. A quick snapshot. The Berg balance scale is more detailed. It assesses a range of balance abilities, things like standing unsupported, reaching, turning around, standing on one leg.
Right.
Both are considered, gold standards for measuring fall risk and tracking improvement over time. So they give quantifiable proof that the intervention is working.
And Bendelak also mentioned patients reporting more confidence walking outside.
Yes, which, let's face it, is the ultimate goal, isn't it? Getting people back to their lives.
Absolutely. That versatility really seems key. And you mentioned earlier, it's not just for fall prevention for older adults.
That's right. Bendelak also points this out. Therapists are using GaitBetter with orthopedic patients, too. People recovering from surgery or injury during their gait rehabilitation. So it shows its flexibility beyond just falls, covering a wider range of mobility issues.
Right. And then there's Faye Bronstein, a neurological clinical specialist in New York City. She said, "We find the GaitBetter virtual reality environment very engaging and motivating for our patients."
Engagement again, it keeps coming up.
It does. She continues, "This allows us to achieve best practice and stepping goals when gait training our patients." When I hear VR for gait training, my mind kind of jumps to video games.
Yeah.
Is there a gamification element here that hooks patients? Or is it strictly clinical?
That's a great point. It's definitely serious clinical work, make no mistake. But patients often do report it feels like a game.
Oh, yeah.
You've got immediate feedback. There are clear challenges, maybe points or progress bars.
Yeah.
It definitely taps into those same motivational mechanisms we see in games.
So it's like turning rehab into a quest, almost.
Kind of, yeah. And that can be incredibly powerful for keeping people coming back, for adherence, and ultimately for their success in recovery.
And it seems there's a benefit for the clinics themselves, not just the patients. Dima Hess, an owner at Asterix PT Clinic, mentioned GaitBetter lets them differentiate our clinic from competitors and provide new services to patients we rarely served before. What's the practical upshot for a clinic? Why does differentiating themselves matter so much?
Well, it gives them a unique selling point, essentially, sets them apart in what can be a pretty competitive market.
Okay.
In healthcare, especially private practice, having technology that's cutting edge and proven to be effective can really attract new patients. People might specifically seek out clinics offering these advanced, engaging therapies.
So it's not just a clinical tool, it's also a bit of a strategic advantage for the business.
Absolutely. It can be both a clinical win and a business development win.
So broadening out, who exactly is using this? The sources paint a picture of pretty wide adoption across different care settings.
Yeah.
It seems really adaptable.
It really is. It's being used in rehabilitation centers, obviously, helping patients restore gait function, motor skills after, say, a stroke or an injury.
Makes sense.
Then you've got physical therapy clinics like Hess's using it for both orthopedic and neurologic rehab, like we discussed.
Right.
And skilled nursing facilities SNFs are using GaitBetter's fall prevention program, which, interestingly, can help them improve their quality measure scores.
Okay, quality measure scores. And I think the sources mentioned 5-star ratings too.
Yeah.
For listeners maybe not in the healthcare industry day to day, Why are those scores and ratings such a big deal for nursing facilities?
Oh, they're hugely important. These are performance metrics that facilities are judged on publicly. They impact everything from their reputation and patient referrals
Ah,
to potentially their funding and insurance reimbursements. A higher rating, like a 5-star rating from CMS, signals better quality of care, better patient outcomes. So there's a massive incentive for these facilities to adopt interventions like GaitBetter that can demonstrably improve those outcomes, like reducing falls.
got it. So that's a really direct operational and financial impact beyond the clinical benefit for residents.
Definitely. And it doesn't stop there. It's also making its way into assisted and independent living facilities. They might add GaitBetter to their existing treadmills in the fitness center, for instance.
And seeing results there too.
Yes, reports of significant reductions in residents' falls and related injuries.
Hmm.
Even senior daycare centers are using the fall prevention programs to help seniors stay independent, age well in their own homes longer.
It's quite a range of applications.
It is. And stepping back for just a second, it's, I think, really vital to underline that this isn't just some flashy new gadget. The sources emphasize it's truly evidence-based.
Right, developed by researchers.
Yes, developed by leading researchers, validated in clinical studies published in peer-reviewed journals, and it's been successfully used now to treat, well, thousands of patients.
So it's built on a solid foundation of research into motor learning, cognitive rehab.
Exactly. Decades of research underpinning this approach. It's not just a gimmick. There's real science behind why it works.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean? We've taken a pretty deep dive here into GaitBetter.
Right.
We've seen how it uses that combination of VR and motor cognitive training.
To improve balance, gait, confidence.
Right. Not just for preventing falls, though that's huge, but also for wider orthopedic rehab. We heard from patients like Judith E., feeling more secure, less afraid after just a handful of sessions.
And from providers finding it engaging for patients, effective for hitting clinical goals.
Yeah, and even helping their clinics stand out, like Dima Hess mentioned.
And looking at where it's being used, rehab centers, PT clinics, skilled nursing, assisted living, it really highlights how versatile it is. The impact seems pretty broad across different care environments.
It really does. Which I guess brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. As these kinds of technologies, like VR, get more and more integrated into healthcare.
Which seems inevitable, right?
It does. So the question to maybe mull over is, what other areas, what other parts of physical health or even cognitive health do you think could be, well, profoundly transformed by these kinds of personalized, engaging, maybe even gamified interventions like GaitBetter?
Yeah, where else could this type of immersive adaptive training make a real difference? Interesting question to ponder.